Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Misa and welcome back to Misa's Comfy Corner. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some stuff. We'll start off with something that's more innocent first, and then we'll get to something that might be a bit more controversial, but I want to try my best to make sure it's not offensive at all. So just hear me out. So to start off, we'll be talking about how to cook a pizza. Because I've had some cooking accidents before. One time I was heating up a pizza in a microwave. When it came out, the plate was hot. There was black stuff all over it, and I'm pretty sure I just turned a pizza into charcoal. Like I somehow molded the atoms or did a chemical reaction and changed them to something completely new. I still to this day don't know how I did it. And then after that, I heated up a protein bar in the microwave with the wrapper on. Started sparking and I just threw it out. So here's how to actually cook a pizza. For those of you who don't know, so to start off, now this isn't going to be making a pizza. This will be how to heat up a pizza. So if you want to make your own pizza, then you're going to want to watch another video. But to start off, you go into the fridge and you take out your pre-made pizza. For my family's brand, we usually buy Red Baron. I mean, it's good, so that's cool, I guess. And then after that, you're going to want to heat up the oven to what it says on the box. And if you're going to be doing this in the oven, which I'm pretty sure, did I say before that I heat up stuff in the oven? No, I meant microwave. So you're not supposed to microwave a pizza. You're supposed to put it in the oven. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I don't know. I guess I got too much energy today, but I don't really care. So yeah, you're gonna want to preheat the oven to what it says on the box. For Red Baron, it says 4 degrees, and you want to make sure that you're using the rack method. The pan method, I'm pretty sure, is entirely different. I don't really know. And I'm pretty sure for what we use for Red Baron, we use the rack method. But of course, you might want some help from someone who actually knows what they're doing. I can at times get the rack and pan method mixed up, but I'm pretty sure it's the pan method. I mean, not pan. Rack method, it's rack method, I'm pretty sure, for the oven. I'm pretty sure, I don't know the difference, but whatever. So preheat the oven. On Red Baron it says 400 degrees. And then you gotta wait for a little bit. And then you got to put the pizza in. So you're gonna take it out of the box, take it out of the plastic wrap. Then you're gonna put it on an aluminum foil. And of course you're gonna want oven mitts for this. You don't want to hurt yourself, so you're gonna take your oven mitts, you're gonna put them on, you're gonna open the oven, pull the rack out, and then you're going to take the pizza and place it on there with the aluminum foil beneath. Then you're going to shut the oven closed, and then you're going to set the timer for whatever it says on the box. For Red Baron, we usually put it at like 20 minutes. So you wait, and then until it's done, and then you turn off the timer. You take the pizza out. Of course, you gotta use oven mitts, and then you close the oven again, and you turn off the oven. You don't want to keep it on. That could be dangerous. So then after that, you've got to So after that, you can eat your pizza. Of course, when it comes to cutting the pizza up into the slices, we usually use like this longer, it's been more of a longer knife. It's bigger. It's of course sharp. It's got a smooth edge. And you want to make sure that you don't cut it. You don't cut it like you're going like you're moving it up and down. No, you don't do that. You gotta chop it. You gotta make it serrated, because the knife you're using, it doesn't have a serrated edge, so you gotta chop it. You gotta Like, you gotta like press it up and down, you know. I'm sorry if I don't explain this clearly. This is definitely not the type of place where people should be talking about this stuff, but whatever, I don't really care. Talk about whatever the fuck you want here, I don't really care. So you gotta chop it, and then once it's done, once you got a good cleanup, and you make all the slices, then bon appetit. Or you cannot, or you don't have to like chop it up into slices. You can just eat it whole. I don't really care. Really, the only point of this segment is to talk about how to cook a pizza, not actually cutting it. But yeah, so once you got it done, once you've enjoyed, you're ready to enjoy your pizza. I just want to quickly say that, I don't know if you've ever been told this in your life, but I know what you did maybe wasn't the most complex thing in the world, but it's still great to, enjoy and celebrate the little feats, or the little accomplishments in life. And regardless if it was like as big as successfully climbing and getting to the bottom of Mount Everest, or maybe you're just cooking a pizza, you did it well, and I'm proud of you. You did a good job. So now that we got all that bullshit done, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of the video. So, I think that our culture nowadays has gone from it's gone from the toxic, masculinity of like how white men are superior and all of the other people and women are like down beneath, The white men back in the day were always superior, and everyone else, the whites, the Caucasians, and all of that, and all of those people, and a woman, of course, were down beneath. I know I already said that, but I just want to clarify. But nowadays, we've gone from that to how, have people who are pushing for more equal rights, and I think that's great. And we've even got like a name for like some of the movements. We've got the civil rights movement and all of that. We've got feminism, we've got Black Lives Matter, and that's great. But then you got to the point where it goes too far, because, pushing for equal rights is great, but when you want, the women to be the best, better than men, when you want the blacks and the Asians and Caucasians, Latinos, Hispanics, all of those races to be better than whites, you start to get into a bit of a moral dilemma. Because what became a movement for equal rights, it became, the men being pushed down and being made to feel like they're guilty, even if they probably weren't part of the issue to begin with. Because, of course, men were part of the issue before, but it was the men back then. The people, the little boys and grown men from nowadays, not all of them were part of the issue. They were brought into a world where, where the men wanted like all complete control and power, and some of them like didn't partake in it, and now they're being made to feel like, like they should feel guilty because of what the people around them did, and that's not okay. And now I'm not saying that the push for equal rights is wrong. I think that's great, but it's, but when it becomes, when it gets to the point where people are starting to be made to feel like they're guilty for stuff that they haven't done, that's when I've kind of got to start to criticize it a little. Because while the movement, was good back then, now, of course, there's still a lot of feminists who believe in equal rights between both men and women. But now there are also people who believe that women should have all the power and men should feel the pain that the women feel before. And while I can't understand the anger, and feeling, not too good about being belittled from the women, while I can't understand the women feeling like angry because they were belittled, letting that hate like consume you, and having the men, and wanting the men to feel like that that they should feel small and all that. That's not okay. Look, if you feel that way, if you feel angry and you want the men to feel like they don't belong, then I definitely feel that you should probably join a support group or a place where you can express your anger and release it and make it something good. Because I understand, like that goes for the inverse too. Because like I'm not here trying to say like, oh, all the men are innocent, all the white people are innocent, they didn't do anything wrong, and the blacks and the Caucasians and the women are all bad people, ha ha ha. Like, that's not true. Because my philosophy, my feelings are that everyone has good and evil in them. No matter if you're black, you're white, you're man or woman, you all have that in you. And back then, when the men felt like we're on their little high horse and we're like talking about how all the women were like should do like all the housework and make babies and stuff, that was when there was evil. They showed their evil, and of course maybe a lot of them had more evil in them than good. That's kind of what I believe as well. Like, at times maybe you can have more good in you than evil, more evil in you than good. And the men back then, they definitely showed more of their evil side. They definitely had more of that evil in them. But I'm sure that not like men today, not all of them have that same evil. Some of them are good. Some of them even like support the feminist movement. And I think that's great. It shows a lot of unity and, a lot of kindness towards each other, despite your differences. Even though, in reality, men and women aren't all that different, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But, a lot of times women nowadays are showing more of their evil. And I'm not saying all women. I'm not saying all women, because, like, in my opinion, like, each group is like a mixed bag. All, whites are, a lot of them are good, a lot of them are evil. Same goes with all, the black people and the Caucasians and Hispanics and Asians as well. All groups really have a lot of good and evil in them. And, and a lot of times we see the good, because there are a lot of good black people in the world. There are a lot of good white people in the world. And I can understand why the civil rights movement happened, because there was a lot of equality among the blacks and whites, and there still is to this day. But having, all this, like, white shame, like this male shame and stuff like that, that's not good, because, in my opinion, if you see why, the Democrats kind of failed during, like, this election, it's because, it's because a lot of the left, a lot of those Democrats, those liberals, there was a lot of white male shame, and there was a lot of, how all the men should feel bad because of how there was a lot of equality back then. And that's not true. Because not the equality part, but because all men shouldn't feel shame. The men who took part in the and like all that equality stuff, like who made women feel like small and all of that, they're free game in my opinion. Fair enough. They were the ones who beat you and made you like have all the babies and made you stay home and work. I can see why you'd be angry. But like all of the men who like didn't take part in that, who wanted to help equality and all of that, who didn't have any part of this, like, leave them alone. Like, okay, I understand that you're angry, but just leave them alone. And kind of like this is why the Democrats lost, because the Republicans were like, hey man, you matter. Like, you shouldn't feel belittled just because of what the Feminist Party tells you. That's why the Republicans won. I'm not trying to be political about this. I'm kind of just, it's kind of just like an opinionated thing. Like, you know, it's just an opinion. And now, I'm not trying to say that all of this civil rights, if the civil rights movement should be stopped. I'm not saying that the civil rights movement should be stopped. I'm not saying that Black Lives Matter should be stopped. I'm not saying feminism should be stopped. But it's just that I feel like that, you know, that the bigger you get, kind of the more you begin to get confident, the more you begin to think that maybe you're better than everyone else. And you're not. I'm not saying, you know, you're better than everyone else. I'm not saying you're worse than everyone else. I'm just saying that back then, like, with the roots of this was, the roots of these movements were equal rights. And I feel like that, you know, when, you know, that, you know, over the years, it's been diverging less from equal rights to having more rights, to having all the rights, kind of. I don't really know how to word it. But yeah, and this goes like for the LGBTQ community as well. Of course, I kind of forgot to mention them, but there is some straight shame and straight guilt and male and all that stuff as well. And not all the straight people were like, you know, taking part in, you know, in the bigotry and all of that back then. But, you know, like, so, but of course, a fair amount of them were. And I'm not trying to like defend all of the groups that, you know, that harmed like these minority groups like the LGBTQ community, like the feminist party or community, and, you know, and the Black Lives Matter and civil rights movement. I'm of course, I'm a minority. I'm Asian. I'm a bisexual. I am male, so I kind of lose the female point, but my point still stands. And I'm not trying to say that, you know, that we should go back to the way that things were, with, you know, with women having less rights than men, with blacks having less rights than the white people, with the LGBTQ community being like taboo. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we should learn to accept each other regardless of our differences. And that does include for the straight white men as well. Because I completely understand why, you know, why the civil rights movement, why the LGBTQ movement, why, you know, feminism were created. And I feel like that we should honor why these movements were created, for equal rights. And if we diverge from that path, we're kind of just shooting ourselves in the foot, because we're losing allies. We're becoming, you know, we're basically just becoming, you know, like the MAGA movement, and that's not good. Because MAGA had a lot of hate in them, had a lot of, oh, we're better than you, and you can see that, like, in today, like these movements that like claim they're progressive, but in reality, you know, they're kind of just doing the same thing that these more right Republican parties are doing. And I'm not saying that, you know, that these parties are bad, like the LGBTQ. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that they're kind of diverging off their path a little, and that's okay. You know, just step it back. Be like, hey man, you know, I shouldn't be shaming you. Let's just be friends, because that's what this movement was designed to be for. These movements were designed for equal rights, and we should keep it that way. I understand that you know, the black communities and like the female communities and the LGBTQ community, they all had dark pasts of not being appreciated, being discriminated against, being segregated, all of that. But we shouldn't let history repeat itself by discriminating against people who are straight, white, and male, because then we're just becoming as bad as, you know, the straight white males were back then. And that would kind of be disrespectful to the forefathers of like the civil rights groups and the LGBTQ community and feminism and all of that. I'm sure that they wouldn't be too happy with that. And well, the point of this segment wasn't trying to be like, oh, women are bad and stuff like that. Like, oh, these communities are bad. I'm just saying like that, you know, with all the like white, straight male guilt, we're kind of hurting the message of equality. You're kind of just hurting what you're representing. I understand that I'll probably get some slack for this because I might have come off as maybe a bit bigoted, as a bit sexist, like, or a bit racist at times. And if I did, then I truly apologize. This segment was to just express my feelings about some of you know, like, you know, a lot of the stuff that these communities were pushing nowadays, with like how straight white men should feel guilty for, you know, for what happened back then with like discrimination against minorities, like having more rights than women, and like making the LGBTQ community taboo. But like, but these communities like today aren't necessarily bad. There are still a lot of, you know, of good people in these communities who are preaching for equal rights and are living up to that slogan. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of women, there's a lot of people in the LGBTQ community, there's a lot of minorities who are being accepting and who are like, hey, we forgive you because we know that you weren't a part of like what happened today. Like, I mean, what happened like back then. And I think that's great. That's kind of where I want to end this segment off. So, all in all, I might get some hate for this. I might get some slack for this. And to clarify, none of what I've said here was meant to be taken as like, you know, being like, oh, these communities are bad, you should do better. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there's some numbers, and I guess I should have probably elaborated on this more, but it's not the communities themselves that are bad, but it's just there are some members who are maybe not the best people, who are more like thinking that they're better than everyone else, and that's not okay. And they're just being as bad as people in the MAGA parties who think that straight white men are better than everyone else. Because that's not true. Like, straight white men are better than everyone else. People in minorities, people in I'm sorry, my brain kind of farted there, but people in the LGBTQ community, people in the feminist community, they're not better than everyone else. I'm not trying to be one of those hobos that are like, hey, all lives matter, because I feel like that's just a slogan that's, you know, that are used by like white people who are trying to, you know, like jab at the Black Lives Matter movement, which is not okay in my opinion. But yeah, I'm not like a religious person, but you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is God created us equally, and I think that's what we should stay as. We should be equal. We should be fair to each other, and that's kind of what I want to push with Nissa's Comfy Corner. So I understand that this might have been a bit more ranty. I understand that this might have been a bit more controversial. Excuse me, sorry. But in conclusion, this was how to cook a pizza, and also, you know, we should learn to accept each other more. This goes for everyone. This goes for the straight white males, of course, as well as members of minority groups and women and people in the LGBTQ community. And in my opinion, for the latter communities that I've talked about, you know, this goes for a really small amount of people, because if you look at like the communities, like, of course, like the LGBTQ community, Black Lives Matter, feminism, you'd be surprised that there are a lot of people who are actually very accepting and are very pro-equality and are not trying to be like the people who think that they're better than everyone else. So I probably was a bit dramatic there. I could have probably explained myself better, definitely. And I'll reflect on that and I'll take that into account. So if this did offend everyone, if this did offend people out there, then I truly do apologize. I understand that I can rant a lot. And I might not speak clearly, the best, but of course that's not an excuse. I definitely should do a lot better at my speaking skills, and I should definitely maybe write scripts more. This video, I don't write scripts, man. I'm not a big fan of scripts, but maybe I should do that more. Will I follow that advice? No, but it's important, but it's good to know. And if you do want to be commentary, like some of the, like a lot of the videos I make, then maybe it's best that you do write scripts. Will I follow my own advice? Not at all, but maybe I will do better thinking before I speak. Because in my videos, I definitely feel like I repeat myself. I definitely rant a lot about things, so I am sorry. But yeah, all in all, there are some people out there who maybe just need to learn more about the meaning of equality, and that's where I'll end this off because it's taken way too long.